Good Monday morning, guys. Hope you had a great weekend and got out and was able to enjoy the weather. I spent a lot of time outside getting some last minute projects done before it starts to cool off this fall. So, ready to get back at it this week. I think our biggest thing this week that we have on the radar is our first official quiz. That quiz is looking like it's going to be Wednesday, possibly Thursday. So be ready for that. You have two worksheets you're going to be working on today, and as always, you need to submit a copy showing all of your work. Okay, and make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. I can see that unfortunately some of these videos, we got 33 kids, and some of these videos are only getting 15 or 20 views on YouTube, which says that just some of you guys aren't taking the time to watch it. And I can always tell when, like last Thursday, for example, I only gave the assignment at the end of the video, and very few people did the assignment. So that just tells me that very few people got to the end of the video because the assignment was really easy. So anyway, so let's look at some story problems. These story problems, when you see a story problem, you got to kind of work your way through it and talk it out and use some critical thinking skills. As always, even if you don't understand something, take your best guess, show some work, try something, come up with an answer. That's how you get better. So it says Han needs to rent a moving truck. So I'm going to do numbers 1 and 2 off your worksheet. You will finish up 3, 4, 5, and 6. So copy everything down I do on 1 and 2, and then finish up 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyway, it says Hans needs to rent a moving truck. Suppose company A charges a flat rate of $40 per day. Okay, when we see that word per day, that tells me usually that we're going to multiply. So over here we have $40 per day for the one company. It says company B charges a $60 fee plus $20 per day. So we have $20 per day. And then they always have that $60 fee that you pay. Okay, and then it says for what number of days is the cost the same. So when we want the cost the same, that's why we set them equal to each other. Okay, so I like to get my variables on the same side right off the bat and try to keep it positive whenever I can. So I subtract 20 from both sides, and of course that'll leave me with 20, and that equals 60. I divide by 20. Okay, and 60 divided by 20 is 3. So what number of days is the cost the same? 3 days. Okay, for the first 2 days, one company is going to be more expensive, and starting with the 4th day, the other company would be more expensive. You could figure that out by, for example, entering 2 into both of these. If I enter 2, you'd see that this side's 80, and this side's 20 times 2 is 40, plus 60 is 100. So company B is more expensive. Then if you did it with 4 days, you'd see that it'd flip-flop the other way around. So number 2, it says UPS charges $7 for the first pound and then 0.2 for each additional pound. Okay. So FedEx charges $5 for the first pound and 30 cents for each additional pound. For how many pounds P will it take for UPS and FedEx to cost the same? Okay, so here we go. So, and you have to be a little tricky when you answer this, okay? Because I have $7 for the first pound, and then I'm going to add 20 cents for each additional pound. Okay, the other one says it charges $5 for the first pound, and then 30 cents for each additional pound. So it says how many pounds P will it take for UPS and FedEx to cost the same. So we'll get to why this one could be a little tricky here in a minute. So let's subtract our 0.2P over here. And that keeps my P positive. So I get 7 equals 5 plus 0.1 P, and now I just solve real quick. Subtract 5 from both sides. 2 equals 0.1 P. Divide by 0.1. I could have cleared my fractions out, but I have a calculator handy, or not a fraction, sorry, a decimal. I could have cleared my decimals out, but I can just use my calculator, take 2, and divide it by 0.1. Of course, we're going to get 20. So the number of pounds is 20. Okay. And why this one is tricky is because, so it takes 20 pounds for them to be the same, except in this case, really this is additional pounds. Our first pound is right here, $7 for one company, $5 for the other. So when it says how many pounds P will it take? Well, our answer is 20, but really, in total, for them to be the same, depending on how you want to answer the question, really it's 21 total pounds and 20 additional pounds. So sometimes it can be tricky, and make sure you're answering the question. And I think if I was taking this on a test or quiz, I would probably explain that it's 21 pounds total. They're equal after 20 additional pounds. So I did the first 2 of those story problems. You finish up 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then also, see, I'm going to pull up here if I can find it. One of your classmates right here. This is numbers 3, 5, and 7 from your worksheet last Friday. Remember, you had to do 1 to 11 odd. Right? And I just really want to point out how clean, neat, and organized this is. So you can see over here on the left side, every single time they rewrote out what the question was asking. And if you notice here, if I pull up the consecutive integer worksheet, 3, 5, and 7, this one said consecutive integers. Down here it said consecutive even, and then number 7 said consecutive odd. So if we go back over here to the student's work, so the first one was consecutive integers, 3 consecutive integers. So my first integer was 1. My second integer is 1 more than the last integer. And then my third integer is 2 more than the original. Okay? And then they do that problem, so, and then they total everything up. Okay? And it's 3x plus 3. Ignore that mistake there. 3x plus 3. Right? But then down here, it was consecutive. I think this one was consecutive even integers. Let me look real quick. Number 5, consecutive even integers. Correct. So consecutive even integers. So this is the first number is right here. And the second one is right here. Even though they're consecutive, there's always 2 between any 2 consecutive even integers. It's the same thing down here if it was consecutive odd integers, because you go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. There's always 2 numbers between them. So you'll notice that on both 5 and 7, even though it's consecutive even here, consecutive odd here, students showed their work. And then after they did that, some of you just stopped here. You said x equals 10, I'm done. Or on number 5, x equals 12, I'm done. No. You gotta come over here, okay, and finish the problem. There's all 3 of my numbers. Okay, and here's my 2 numbers, my first number, my second number. And notice how they check their work. This is a good quality assignment. Okay. And this is what I'm looking for when I'm giving out 3 points. I have some of you just clicking submit. I have some people just turning in answers. I don't assign a ton of problems a day. These 6 problems on Friday should have taken you maybe 10 minutes. So on Friday you had a 10 or 15 minute video and 10 minutes of problems. So should have spent no more than a half hour Friday on my algebra. So make sure we're doing this, okay? The other thing is, you should never have a decimal. No decimals. So if you got a decimal or fraction answer, that tells you right off the bat you did something wrong. And it's probably because maybe you didn't do consecutive even. Maybe here you wrote x and then x plus 1. Well, when it's consecutive even, this needs to be x and x plus 2. That would have given you a decimal over here. So on number 5, if you got a decimal, or number 7, you got a decimal. It was in your setup. So then the other part of your assignment is to go back and do the evens. Take a picture. So you got 2 things you got to submit. Okay. So 1, numbers 3 to 6 on the story problem worksheet. And really, you need to submit 1 to 6, but I did 1 and 2 for you. And 2, we did the odds last week on this worksheet, I think. Let's see here. Yep, we did the odds. So you are going to do the evens on the consecutive integer worksheet. Okay. Have a good Monday.